NFL free agency opens on March 13, which means the Jets are less than 2 weeks away from making the critical signings that will shape their 2019 season. Last week, they decided not to pick up contract options for 3 defensive contributors to free up extra cap space. They have a few more chances to open up some added room looming, too. So how did those moves affect what general manager Mike Maccagnan will be able to do in free agency in the 2019 NFL Draft? What other moves can he still make? And what does the Jets' salary cap situation look like as of now? Here's a look at the Jets' current cap situation and some realistic options for them to add more cap room before the start of free agency. Is Jets' trade market for no. 3 pick already thinning? How Nick Foles could dictate their options. Giants need several needy teams could already have their QB solution in place before the Jets get a chance to trade the no. 3 pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. What does the NFL's salary cap look like for 2019? OverTheCap.com, whose numbers we are using throughout this rundown, currently projects the NFL's salary cap to be $190 million in 2019, compared to $177.2 million this season. Remember, that $190 million figure is just an estimate, so keep that in mind as you assess these projected cap space figures for the Jets. At this point, the NFL officially projects its 2019 cap to be between $187 million and $191.1 million. How did Jets finish 2018, in terms of the cap? They ended the regular season with $18.598 million in salary cap space, 7th most in the NFL. Why does that matter? Well, the Jets can, and have opted to, roll that cap space over to 2019, which adds to the amount they'll have to spend on free agents. So how much cap space are they scheduled to have in 2019? Based on that $190 million cap estimate, plus the rollover amount, the Jets are currently scheduled to have $102.45 million in cap space for the 2019 offseason, based on the estimate from OverTheCap.com. How did releasing Mike Pennell, Terrence Brooks and Kevin Pierre-Louis affect cap space? The Jets decided not to pick up Pennell's 2-year team option last week, when the deadline for the defensive tackle's $1 million option bonus came around. By dumping him, the Jets freed up $1.66 million in cap space for 2019, but also incurred a $1.66 million dead cap penalty. Brooks would have been entering the final year of his deal if the Jets picked up his option. Instead, he's now headed for free agency. As a result, the Jets will save $1.8 million in cap space for this season, though the move also comes with $300,000 in dead cap. Pierre-Louis was the Jets' third victim in those cuts, as they opted to set him loose before his $750,000 bonus kicked in. They'll save $2 million against the cap for 2019, while eating $875,000 in dead cap space. How did cutting Spencer Long affect cap space? The Jets cut Long in early February because he was due a $3 million bonus and would have made a total of about $6.5 million in 2019 if he stayed on the roster. By cutting him, they freed up that $6.5 million for next season, without suffering any dead cap penalty, as there was no guaranteed money left on Long's deal, which ran through 2021. How does keeping Leonard Williams affect cap space? Leonard Williams will reportedly stay with the team in 2019. He is due to make $14.2 million. That number was predetermined when the Jets decided to pick up the 5th-year option on Williams' contract last offseason. That salary will become fully guaranteed on March 13. But opting to keep him does not hurt the Jets' salary cap projections for this season. His salary for 2019 has figured into the equation since the team exercised that option last year. Trading him could have freed that salary space up, so the Jets are passing on that chance, but they're not cutting into their current projected allotment by keeping him. Williams' salary cap figures could change if he were to sign an extension with the Jets though. How did re-signing Quincy Enunwa impact things? The Jets resigned Enunwa just before the end of last season. His $9 million signing bonus was spread over 5 years, even though he has a 4-year contract because he signed the deal before the end of 2018. So that's in addition $1.8 million cap hit for 2018, lessening the Jets' carryover cap space. Enunwa's cap hit in 2019 is $2.8 million. Where does Jets' cap space rank in the NFL? Very high. Second, in fact, behind the Colts, who are at $109 million in cap space. The Jets are well ahead of the third-place team in cap space, the Bills, who are projected to have $80 million in room for 2019. Jets' biggest cap hit for 2019, it's not cornerback Tremaine Johnson, who is surely going to get $45 million over the first 3 years, 2018 to 20, of his Jets contract. It is for now defensive end Leonard Williams, whose 5th-year option salary will be $14.2 million, which will also be his cap hit. Johnson checks in at number 2, with a $12 million cap hit for 2019. Now, obviously, these rankings could change, depending on what the Jets do in free agency. How much dead cap space do the Jets have? The Jets now have $3.07 million of dead money on the books for 2019. The team incurred those penalties by getting rid of Pennell, Brooks and Pierre-Louis, plus wide receivers are Darius Stewart $423,162 and Chad Hansen $209,824, defensive back Justin Burris $137,783 and linebacker Dylan Donahue $100,974. Where do the Jets rank in terms of dead cap? The Jets are in relatively good shape when it comes to dead cap money. They're more or less in the middle of the pack, with the 11th most dead cap space in the league for 2019. But the Jets are still way behind the Dolphins, who have the most dead money at $13.58 million. How can Jets create more cap room? Simple, the Jets have a handful of realistic options for cutting players that would free up some more money in 2019. The following players are potential cap casualties because of both their play and how their contracts have been structured. LT Kelvin Beacom. Beacom is entering the final year of his contract in 2019. He turns 30 in June, so it is probably time for the Jets to get younger at left tackle, as they attempt to protect quarterback Sam Darnold. Beacom's cap hit if he is around for 2019, $9.5 million. The Jets would free up $8 million in cap space by cutting him, with $1.5 million in dead money attached to the move, if they want to draft a new left tackle. And they surely will have to address this position in the draft, rather than in free agency. RB Isaiah Crowell. Crowell arrived in free agency this past season. If the Jets get Le'Veon Bell next offseason, Crowell would be expendable, though his 2019 cap situation isn't as team-friendly as Beacom's. Crowell's cap hit for 2019 is scheduled to be $5 million. The Jets would free up $3 million of that, with $2 million in dead money, by cutting him. So maybe cutting Crowell wouldn't be that much of a surprise if the Jets are able to get Bell and want to pair him with 2017 draft pick Eli McGuire or another young talent. The Jets need to make a decision on Crowell by March 15, when $2 million of his $4 million salary for 2019 becomes fully guaranteed. Our Brian Winters. If the Jets really wanted to blow up their offensive line, aging and declining left guard James Carpenter will surely be allowed to walk in free agency. They could also cut right guard Brian Winters. Remember, the Jets would obviously need to sign or draft starters to fill these spots if they cut Beacom or Winters or let Carpenter walk, and they already have to fill Long's spot. After this season, Winters has no more guaranteed money left in his deal. So it would be a straight-up savings of $6.5 million if the Jets cut Winters. Don't forget, hidden cap costs. OverTheCap.com currently projects the Jets will have to allocate $9.085 million to pay their 2019 draft picks. And wide receiver Robbie Anderson's likely second-round restricted free agent tender is projected to cost the Jets $3.11 million. That's a total of $12.195 million in hidden cap costs that are coming the Jets' way this offseason. Full potential cap savings rundown. Current projected cap space for 2019, $102.45 million. LT Kelvin Beacom, $8 million savings, $1.5 million dead money. RB Isaiah Crowell, $3 million savings, $2 million dead money. RG Brian Winters, $6.5 million savings, no dead money. Total additional potential savings, $17.5 million. Hidden cap costs. Draft restricted free agent, $12.195 million, which would get the cap space number to $107.75 million. So, who could Jets target with all this cap space? Running back Le'Veon Bell and pass rusher DeMarcus Lawrence are two of the biggest names scheduled to hit free agency this offseason, at positions of need for the Jets, no less. But it's worth noting that the Jets only have 39 players under contract right now, which is the lowest number in the league. They will have to sign a lot of players in the coming months, which means that $100 plus million in cap space is going to get spread across a number of different contracts. One or two big signings is feasible, but the Jets can't just spend wildly. They'll need to be judicious in spots to fill their roster and create solid depth. Matt Stypulkowski may be reached at mstypulkowski@newadvancemedia.com. Follow him on Twitter at m_Stypulkowski. Find NJ.com Jets on Facebook.